Hello everyone, and we are here at Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery in Chelsea, New York. With us is the owner, Ruthie Tucker. And Ruthie, first of all, tell us a little bit about your exhibit today.
Welcome to Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. We are delighted that Kristal Hart, the beautiful Kristal Hart, and her team are here to film our fabulous exhibition at Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. Thank you, Kristal. You're beautiful. Our exhibition reflects international artists from around the world. We have artists from Sweden, Denmark, Japan, Germany, from the Reunion Island, from California, from the state of Maryland. It is very, very international, and it's a very exciting exhibition reflecting photography and abstract work and the newest perspectives that Chelsea is always known for. And Kristal is so divine to be featuring our fabulous artists here at the gallery. Artists also include from Sweden and Denmark, from Brazil, from Argentina, and it reflects how truly international Chelsea is. May we introduce our first artist, Mr. Siegfried Lehmann from Germany, whose wonderful works are behind us. Very colorful. They're some of it cubist-oriented. We see excellent shapes, and Mr. Lehmann will introduce his work to you and welcome you to his fabulous exhibition. Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about your philosophy on painting?
Also willst du übersetzen? Also die Philosophie ist in halt Zeit. Das habe ich zum Beispiel in diesen Bildern gut rübergebracht, dass man das Leben genießen sollte und sich nicht so hektisch bewegen. Das ist hier zum Beispiel ein Bild, das heißt die Wanderer. Also man soll sich auch beim Wandern Zeit nehmen und das Leben genießen und die Natur beobachten und nicht so hektisch durchs Leben laufen, sondern die Natur genießen und ist auch die Kunst ist heute das Sehen. Manche sehen ja gar nicht mehr, die sehen nur auf einem Laptop. Sehen nicht mehr in Natur.
So I try to translate what his main theme in these paintings is the time. To use your time, to take your time, and to take effort of your time. So, for example, this painting is called The Three Hikers, and it means you should walk through your life, take your time, see what is beside you on the left side, on the right side, to integrate it in your life, to think about it, to see how you can profit from it, what riches your life, and then to step forward, see what is next coming to you, and all these processes you go through on your way of life.
And this first painting here.
Das ist auch eben halt, das hat auch mit Natur zu tun, dass die Natur vergänglich ist. Deswegen gehen die Formen von unten, da sind sie noch sehr groß. Und umso mehr sie nach oben gehen, werden sie immer kleiner, von der Optik her. Und das hat auch was mit der Zerstörung der Umwelt zu tun.
This painting means the way of life, from the start to the end. That things changes, that nothing keeps the same, and it has also to do with the nature around you, that nothing stays like it is today, everything changes, and you have to look for your nature, you have to look for yourself during this process.
And these last two over on this side, now they're a little different. Tell me about the concept.
Ja, also das ganz rechte Bild, das ist also ganz eindeutig, das ist auch wieder die Vergänglichkeit der Zeit, also Uhr und auch wieder das Thema hektisch und genießen, die Zeit sich nehmen.
It's also representing the time that changes, the time you have to do things, how much time you will take, that you have to think about your time you have, what will you do with your time, how will you use your time, and to use it the best to be happy in your life, not only for profit, but to keep in balance with your own life, to choose and to see that nothing stays like it is, and to use the moment and not live in the past or in the future, but be in the moment and use the time in your own moment.
Actually, that's a great philosophy on life.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I know, ich liebe dich,
Ich
mein
auch.
Herr, Fräulein. And wie geht es Ihnen? I did take it actually in college, a little German, but I
New
forgot
York
all
is
that.
pretty.
Thank you.
Joy to be here.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Kristal.
All the way from Japan, Ken Wada, and his work is behind us. And Ken, I see a lot of circles and colors. Tell me about your philosophy and how these paintings came about.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ken Wada. I'm a Japanese artist. Now I'm very, very excited to be here because I had already 4 times exhibition in New York City, but this is my first exhibition at Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. So thank you very much for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. Thanks to Lucy and thanks to the team of the gallery. I work in my studio in the mountain. So I have been always been inspired by rural beauty, particularly the deep forest and the trees that surround my studio. This is my 3 latest paintings called Untitled from the series White and Red Paintings. Nature is very, very important for me, so I have inspired these series by rural beauty.
Yes, nature. Nature is important.
Yes, nature is very important. So I always work in my studio. Altitude 1,100 meters in the forest.
In the forest. Welcome to New York City.
Yes, thank you very much. Once again, thanks to Lucy. Thank you very much. Okay.
Once again with us, the owner of Amsterdam Whitney Gallery, Ruthie Tucker. And could you introduce who's next to us?
Well, Kristal, we are honored to present the Consul General of Singapore, the beautiful Miss Jasmin Wee, representing Singapore, who is the Consul General here to the United Nations. The Consul General, Jasmin Wee, is here to endorse and support one of Singapore's very famous artists, Gloria K. And Gloria K's 4 paintings are right behind us, representing the 4 seasons, autumn, winter, spring, and fall. And we are honored to have Consul General Wee of Singapore, and we're honored to have you here, Kristal. And may I have you welcome Miss Wee.
Yes, Ms. Wee, welcome to Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. And tell us a little bit about the artist.
Okay, thank you. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to be here and of course to witness Gloria K's beautiful and vibrant art pieces of the 4 seasons. And I believe that Gloria K, she has a very rich history of oil painting. Her father was an oil painter, and so she followed in his footsteps. And as you can see, she likes rich and vibrant colors. And I'm very happy to see her artwork here today. And thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Did she contact you? She couldn't be here herself, but did she contact you to help represent her work?
She didn't contact us directly, but I'm so proud that a Singapore artist's work is being exhibited here at the Amsterdam.
Chelsea.
Yes, exactly, in Chelsea. And we look forward actually to greater cooperation with New York. Yes,
We'll be
thank
honored.
you.
All the way from Germany, we have Klaus.
Grape.
Grape. and
From Munich.
welcome to Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. And you know, your work's very colorful. We have two of your pieces behind me.
Yeah.
And tell me about what makes you paint, and what are your thoughts and philosophy?
If you look at that, it's like an imaginary landscape painted with pure pigments. That's because I get the very bright colors through the pigments and different binding systems. And then I work layer upon layer upon layer. It needs 2 or 3 days to dry, and then another layer. And it's like, I would say, Google Maps, like an imaginary landscape seen from space.
And how long have you been painting?
Since my 10th year.
And now, how many paintings do you have here?
Four of them.
Now, 2 of them are behind us. Now, this first one on the left, tell us a little bit about that painting.
This one, as I said, it's a landscape. It's called Landscape 20. I do a cyclist with different types of landscapes. As I said, from like geological forms and imaginary landscapes like seen from space.
And right over here.
This one is an oil painting, and it's untitled because it's very spontaneous, intuitive. It was very intuitive painted. And there's a rust on it. Yeah.
Now, Klaus, we have 2 more paintings
that's right.
but these are quite different, it seems, than what was on the other wall. Could you tell our audience about the difference here?
Yeah, they're really made in a different year and on a complete different cycle. Like this one is from the Skyline cycle, and it's watercolors. And it's like a little bit like a collage with glass beads in and some Swarovski crystals. So that's completely different work.
A mixed media.
A mixed media, exactly. Okay.
And
This
one right
one-
behind us.
This one is also watercolor with rust, and it fits a little bit more into that landscape series that we've seen before.
And then what made you sort of change your direction?
I constantly work on different cycles, like the landscapes, the watercolors, the skylines, and then some oil paintings with complete different themes.
Yes, I'm Christian Riesing. I'm the head of the press, Consulate. No? I'm just a consul, not the consul general. Yes, and I'm happy to be here with German artists and all the other artists here. It's wonderful pictures I've seen already. And I hope I can see more, and thank you for the invitation.
Oh, well Ruthie.
Thank you, Consul General and Mr. Klaus Grape. It truly represents how international Amsterdam Whitney Gallery is, and we are so delighted and honored to have you here, Consul. Thank you to represent Germany, and thank you, Kristal, as well.
Oh, it must make you feel great as artists, as somebody so prestigious from your country would be here to help support your work.
Yeah, it's our honor and our pleasure to have the opportunity to meet German artists and all American and from other countries. So it's our pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Very much.
All the way from Denmark, Ghita Falch, and her first profession is interior design, and then following up is your painting.
Yes.
So welcome to New York, and tell us a little bit about how you switched over from interior design.
I work as an interior designer. That is my profession. But then many years ago, I started to paint as well, because I found that a lot of people, they missed painting over the couch. So I tried to make it a win-win situation. And because they didn't have the time, they didn't they didn't have the courage to go out and choose a painting. So I say, okay, I make some, and I'll come and show them to you in your house. and then they could choose one, and they did mostly. So it has been a very, very good win-win situation for me.
And tell me now, you have 3 paintings here.
Yes.
Now the one behind us.
Yes.
Tell our audience what was your concept behind it?
It was that I wanted to make something very light, and I also like there is a bottom, so that is light and darkness. So that's why I made it with gravel, and it's quite heavy in the bottom. So I just want to make it light and dark.
Light and dark.
Yeah,
and that is light.
and the happy colors as well.
Then to the side of us we have. Is that you by chance? It's a blonde to blonde. A woman looks like a child.
It could have been, because I have a daughter blonde as myself, so it could have been. But this painting is quite different from what I normally paint. Normally I paint with a lot of colors and in small pieces, but this color came to me during the night. So I just saw it before falling asleep, and I just went downstairs and put everything on paper. I got all the colors, everything was just ready. So I stood up the next morning and I painted the paintings. That was so funny. I have never had that before. So
And yeah, it is. I see it is a little different.
yeah.
Than the other 2. Now, and the last one, which is in the far corner.
Yeah, that's what I call my happiness paintings, because in Denmark, people very often choose a gray couch, white table, black chairs, and white shelves, or they have so much gray, white, beige, and black. And I feel that everybody, they suddenly feel, oh, now I need to have some colors. And I sell these paintings a lot, because people can put a nice bouquet of roses or a yellow pillow or whatever, and everything fits.
So it brightens up a room, because
Exactly.
the rooms
And you can-
basically are sort of shades of gray and black and
Exactly.
sort of blasé, and then your artwork sort of brings
and
the
everything
room alive.
fits to this painting. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome to New York.
Thank you so much.
Having a wonderful time?
Oh, having a wonderful time. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. With us, Robbie Ruhaak from Colorado. Welcome to New York City.
Thank you.
And she has, well, you describe your art here.
These are acrylic paintings on metal, so I paint only exclusively on aluminum. And these are all inspired by Mother Nature. So these are all horizons. So it's sky, and it's the horizon line, and then it's Mother Earth. So.
And we have 2 right over here on the side.
Yes.
Tell us what inspired that.
That was a trip to Montana, and so it was snowing. So that was a sunrise and a sunset, and those were the colors of the sky and the skyline, and then as the sun rose and as the sun set. So they're all very edgy contemporary, but they're all rooted in nature.
And behind us?
This one was Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this was a sunset, and the sky just lit up, and there is no bigger sky than New Mexico, and so I tried to capture the color and the horizon line for it.
And over here to our side.
These were in Colorado, and I was sitting under aspen trees, so the ribbons that you see were the aspens moving in the breeze. So they were, again, the horizon lines.
And tell me now, how do you process this?
So these are aluminum panels, and I have created a technique where metal will stick to aluminum, because we all know that paint doesn't necessarily like metal. And so I've created a technique similar to when you paint a car. And I've created my own formulas for figuring out how to make that happen. And then each finish is sealed with a sealant that when it dries in the sun, it kind of crackles, which is my message about Mother Earth maybe getting hotter and hotter and cracking, but there's still beauty in that. So.
How'd you come up with this technique?
I just play.
You just play?
Artists play. We're kids at heart.
Well, that's wonderful. And how long does it take to finish a piece?
It takes me a good week to 2 weeks from the time I start because there's a lot of drying time and then there's a lot of processing. So it takes a couple weeks for each piece.
And it's work that could really go in any type of room, office, house.
And it's fun because it is so rooted in something that's so natural, but yet it's so contemporary and it's so edgy. And so that's my joy. That's what I love to do.
With this Dana Maranto from Maryland.
Yes.
And you have these great sculptures.
Yes.
And right next to us, this beautiful young lady. Tell us a little bit. You said it's terracotta.
It's made out of terracotta, yes, which is fired in a kiln. And it's called Grace. And it was kind of a long process because it's such a large piece. So actually she was cast in several pieces. Her hands were originally cast separate from the body, and then once it was fired in the kiln, it was assembled together so that it was one piece.
So how long would you say it took to get it all together?
Probably maybe about 2 months to do the sculpting part of it. Then you've got to wait for the terracotta to dry, which is about 45 to 60 days, sometimes longer than that, sometimes as much as 90 days. And then it can go into the kiln, and once it's fired, then you can put a finish on it and it's ready to go. So altogether probably about 6 months to make it.
Now from terracotta we go to bronze.
Yes.
Now this is a dancing...
It's a ballerina. Yes. What I'm trying to do in bronze is to create a lot of dramatic movement and kind of blowing drapery that just adds an exciting flair to sculpture that you don't typically see. Usually you think of a monument out on the street or in a building, and it's just a pretty much up and down type sculpture. What I'm trying to do is create something that is exciting to look at and has a lot of movement and is just something that captures your eye, and you want to look at it a lot and look at it all around and see all of it from different perspectives. So this one is called Freya, and it's kind of a Nordic name that was like a god of the home, the mother, the hearth. So we're trying to create something that's exciting about women, but at the same time grounding them in their natural environment of being mothers and taking care of the home. So it's trying to encompass all of what a woman is.
And talking about taking care of the home or bringing mothers back to nature. There's a little boy over there in the corner. Could you tell us? Now that's the terracotta.
That's a terracotta, and actually that piece was my grandson when he was about 3 years old. I had taken some pictures of him, and I really like this one photograph that I got. And what's nice is that, again, he's got a lot of movement. He's kind of in an action type pose, but at the same time, if you look at him close, his shoestrings are untied like a typical child, but he's still running around playing and having a good time. So that was what I was trying to capture, just that excitement of a young child having fun. This piece is called Tying Her Shoe number 2. This was actually the second piece that I did where a young girl was tying her shoes. This was designed to be very dramatic with the flowing drapery of her dress, and also show that even though she's a little girl and she's very feminine, she can still sit down on the ground and tie her shoe when her shoe comes untied.
Now another terracotta. Tell us the theme on this.
This piece is called Look Ma, No Hands. And it's about a young girl who's just learning to experience herself and finding herself and learning about life. So she's kind of just making antics and jumping around and doing strange stuff as a young child would, trying to discover herself. And she's basically showing off for her mother. And so that's what this piece is about. At the same time, the important part is the drapery, the jeans that she has on, and her t-shirt or her, just her shirt, and all of the folds in the drapery, folds in the pants that just create a more dynamic pose than just a typical average pose would be.
A lot of detail.
Excuse me?
A lot of detail.
A lot of detail, yes. Yes, she's got the pockets and the zipper on the front of her jeans and everything. So, yeah, detail is definitely important in my sculpture.
And once again, a terracotta, and I see tying tennis shoes.
Yes, this is the first piece that I did like this, so naturally it's called Tying Her Shoes #1. And if you actually look at the way she's holding the laces, it's looked like she's contemplating on how was I shown to make that knot to tie this lace. And so she's kind of struggling a little bit, just trying to figure out the process like she did on the first shoe. And again, it's just a little girl who's experiencing something new in life, and tying the tennis shoe is just difficult for her at the moment, but in a couple days she'll have it and it'll be easy. This piece is called Summer Splendor, and it's about a girl who's running through the field and she's enjoying the sun and the blue sky. And again, you've got a lot of drapery that's flowing and blowing, and her hair is blowing, and it's creating a lot of excitement and movement in the piece. And there's also, again, I like to have a lot of detail, so there's a lot of lace in the dress, and it just makes the piece more exciting and dynamic to look at.
And we're saying goodnight from Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery, the artists.
Dana Maranto.
Ghita Falch.
Siegfried Lehmann.
Klaus Grape.
Ken Wada.
Ruthie Tucker, we love you, Kristal. God bless.
Hey, good night, everyone. Good night from Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery. Come on down here in Chelsea. Bye.